Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be updating you guys on that upcoming big snowstorm. We're going to do our final update here and give you guys our final forecast as well. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, how do you think this upcoming April is going to go? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. I want to remind you guys to continue to subscribe to Direct Weather 2. I want all of you to be able to be a part of the projects that are going to be going on over on that channel. So there's going to be a little tab on the top right corner, and if you don't see that, you can check it out in the description or the pinned comment down below, and go ahead and subscribe. Also, there's a stream planned, which I'm going to be doing there. I'm planning for Friday, so be sure to set the reminder for that one so that you won't miss out on that. We're going to announce what's going to be going on that channel then. Anyway, let's get straight into the video. First things first, we're taking a look at that simulated radar here from the European model. And first things first, we're taking a look at this afternoon, so about maybe 2 or 3 p.m. today on Wednesday, March 31st. And as you can see, there is going to be rain around for the East Coast and the Gulf states. We can see that Arctic invasion moving in there from the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. We can literally visualize that. You should be able to see that by those thin blue lines indicating the trough as those horseshoe down. But generally just a lot of storminess here for the eastern United States. By the time we're reaching 11 p.m. tonight, we're going to begin to see some of that snowfall mixing in for Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee. I think I already said Tennessee, whatever. Pennsylvania, New York as well. So it's beginning to slowly mix in, but this is obviously not a big snowstorm yet. So let's continue on with this, and by the time we're reaching about 2 a.m. here on Thursday, April 1st, again, not an April Fool's joke, you can see that we have a 1,005 millibar low pressure center over eastern Virginia. And we can see that that snowfall is becoming a lot more consistent there for Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, up through Pennsylvania, even Maryland as well, getting some of that moderate to heavy snowfall by this point. But let's continue on, and this is by about maybe 4 a.m. here on Thursday, April 1st. As you can see, we have moderate to heavy snowfall pretty much widespread throughout West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York, where we expect the bullseye to be. We can see that Arctic blast is now centered over the Great Lakes, so that is kind of shifting east as time moves on. That's continuing to trek its way further and further east and push further and further south into some of these regions. That low pressure center is now located over Long Island. Is at 1,002 millibar low pressure center there. Let's just take this towards about 6 a.m. and we have a 1,000 millibar low pressure center over Boston now. You can tell that this low pressure center actually is not expected to get as strong as originally anticipated. Originally, we expected to get into the mid 990s, maybe even the lower 990s, which is a much stronger low pressure center. These models have really backed off of that stronger nor'easter solution, and they've kind of more suggested a weaker nor'easter is going to be the case here, but that's not really going to make us have a light snowfall. We're still having that very moderate to heavy snowfall for Pennsylvania and New York here, still by about 6 a.m. Let's move that towards about 2 p.m. on Thursday, April 1st still. We have a 998 millibar low pressure center, so this is eventually intensifying still. But now we're mostly dealing with just some moderate snowfall for the Adirondacks, the regions of Vermont, and maybe the Green Mountains specifically. We can see the White Mountains in New Hampshire northward, and then the very far northern regions of Maine as well, getting some of that snowfall. Now, by the time we're reaching about 11 p.m. there on Thursday, you can see this one is generally coming to an end. We see mostly just snow showers, but by the time we reach about 2 a.m., you can see those snow showers get even weaker. So what we're going to do here in a moment is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at that potent Arctic blast. I'm going to show you guys those temperature anomalies and those actual temperatures by April 2nd on this European model. And then we're going to move on to a much higher resolution simulated radar and watch that snowstorm again. And then we're going to move on and take a look at the total snowfall maps according to all of these models, and then also our final snowfall forecast, hand-drawn forecast here from Direct Weather. So all of those things are coming up in just a moment. So here is that temperature anomalies, and as you can see, we're still expecting anywhere from about 15 to 20 degrees below normal here, especially in those darker blues there for Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky. A lot of those Ohio Valley regions especially going to get the most potent end of this Arctic outbreak. But generally, all of these areas, even in the greens, are far below normal. That's 10 degrees below normal or more, so that's going to be a significant chunk below normal there regardless. And as you can see at 2 a.m. here on Friday, April 2nd, if you have plants that you're starting and you've brought outdoors, you're going to want to bring them back indoors for many of these regions, because we're going to have a hard freeze for all of these areas that are in the 20s and even in the lower 30s there. So for Virginia and North Carolina, and take that all the way through the Northeast and the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, and all of those regions are going to have a very hard freeze. We see lower 20s, upper teens for many of those regions. Definitely going to want to bring those plants indoors if that is an option. That's what I would suggest, and that's what I'm going to be doing even in southeastern Virginia. All right. Now, as we move on to our NAM 3KM, a much higher resolution model here, we can see that there's going to be thunderstorms throughout, a lot of these regions here tonight on Wednesday night, heading into about 10 p.m. Let's just take that towards about 1 a.m. tomorrow on Thursday, April 1st, and you can see we're going to get a lot of heavy snowfall there for Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia, New York. You can tell this is a much higher resolution model, and we're getting a much better picture of what's going to be occurring here. By 4 a.m. here tonight, you can see that by this point, we see West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, even up in through New York and Ohio, getting some of that heavier snowfall. Again, those deeper blues indicating the heavier snowfall. And by the time we're reaching approximately, I would say this is about 5 a.m. tomorrow on April 1st, you can tell that there is a lot of that heavy snowfall going on for New England as well and up through Canada. This becomes a much bigger snowstorm by this point. Central and eastern Pennsylvania getting in on some of that as well. By the time we're reaching about, I would say 10 a.m. or so here on Thursday, April 1st. Most of this moves out of Pennsylvania, and most of it is now in New York and Vermont by that point. And then as we move towards approximately, I would say it's about 1 p.m. tomorrow on Thursday, April 1st, you can see a lot of that is now lake effect snowfall by this point, also mostly Vermont. And then we see some ice and sleet and freezing rain going on for New Hampshire and Maine there. Very, very interesting. This begins to move out by 3 p.m. tomorrow, again, Thursday, April 1st. We see snow showers still around, maybe even some lake effect snow showers. And we see some of that wintry mix coming to an end for Maine there as well. So a lot of this is going to be coming to an end very rapidly late tomorrow. This is a very quick-moving system, and if it was a lot slower, we would have a much bigger snowstorm on our hands. We still have a decent snowstorm, again, a very big snowstorm here, but this would be a much more major solution if we were seeing a much slower system that was able to drop snow for an extended period of time. All right. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to move on, and we're going to talk about that total snowfall according to many different models, and then we're going to move into that official snowfall forecast from me, Direct Weather. All right, now here we are taking a look here at first off, the European model's total snowfall. And as you can see, this is actually significantly lower than we saw yesterday. Yesterday, we were seeing 20 inches plus for some of these regions. Now we're hardly even creeping into the 6 to 10 inch range, according to the European model. And that's mostly due to that weaker low pressure center. It's moving a lot faster. And generally, we're seeing a much more slight snowfall event here. If you're anywhere in the grays, you're expecting a dusting, if anything. Within the lighter blues, 2 to 6 inches of snow. Within the purples, 6 to 10. And then there is some pinks there for the Adirondacks, also up through Canada. That's where you're at 10 to 20 inches of snow. So we see mostly those purples there for the Adirondacks, maybe portions of the Catskills, and then the very northern regions there of Vermont. The GFS model still has a lot more snowfall than what the European model is showing. We can see some of those purples going on for West Virginia, even in through Pennsylvania as well. But then once you move into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, we begin to see those 10 to 20 inch amounts there for the more mountainous regions. So the GFS is saying, look, there probably will be a little bit more snowfall than the European model is showing for. So that European model has a much more conservative outlook. The Canadian model is a lot more like the GFS still, shows that 10 to 20 inch amounts for the Adirondacks, Catskills, and the Green Mountains there. Our high-resolution models show a more high-resolution depiction here, so we're able to see that the mountaintops are expecting 10 to 20 inches of snow, but rapidly, once you move into the lower elevation regions, we move into the 6 to 10 range, and then even the 2 to 6 inch range very rapidly. But this will be a widespread 2 to 6 inch snowfall event. I'm very confident in that, with some 6 to 10 inch amounts for the higher elevation regions, and then the mountaintops, 10 to 20 inches of snow from this event. Our NAM 12KM is a little bit of a lower resolution model, but it looks a lot like the GFS model there. And then our RGEM model, which is the Canadian high resolution model. I like this model a lot. And this one also shows more of like the mountains of West Virginia getting that heavier snowfall, also the Adirondacks, and then also some of the Green Mountains there in Vermont. So that seems to be the consensus here, that we're going to see a lot of high elevation, major snowfall. But it's once you move into those more medium to lower elevation regions, that's when we get rapidly declining amounts of snowfall accumulating. Anyway, for my official snowfall forecast, let's just break this down. A dusting to 3 inches of snow is expected within this white region. In this lighter blue region, I expect 3 to 6 inches of snow, and this has just regressed a little bit, but it looks very similar to what we had yesterday. 6 to 10 inches of snow, I have this almost exclusively here for New York State by this point. The Finger Lakes up through the Adirondacks, and then 10 to 15 inches of snow is possible there for some of those higher elevation regions, also down through the Finger Lakes regions where we will have some heavier bands moving through. Now we don't have a 15 to 20 inch region anymore. We had that yesterday for the northern Adirondacks. I've gone ahead and got rid of that. I don't think we're going to see any 15 plus amounts here from this storm any longer. Anyway, for our confidence tab, we've moved from a 4 to a 5 out of 6. There still could be some more agreement from the models that would make me feel a bit more confident, but for now I feel pretty good about this. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, what do you think Direct Weather 2 is going to be? And Hugh Brackett said, silly people, Direct Weather 2 will be dedicated to cats reacting to weather, cats in snow, cats in rain and hail, cats reacting to thunder, etc. First off, I think cats in rain would be animal abuse, so obviously that's not what it's going to be, but it's not going to be any cats at all. I just thought that comment of the day was very funny. Anyway, for today's Patron Highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, Property Damage, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Palemo, Adam S., Larry the Pan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Ada Mattis, alongside our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Alan Cherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Cat Bite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Flego, Gary's, and John Quilisi. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but let's move on to our channel membership people. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Channel members, that's what it is. Weather Top Dogs, Hair Farms 1, and then also our super fans, Phoenix Nimitz. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. If you would like to join the channel membership, you can do so by hitting that channel membership button. And that's going to give you awesome perks, especially during the live streams and comments and stuff. You get all these emojis and awesome stuff. So you can join that today to support the channel. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to destroy the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you like weather-related content. And I will see you guys in the next video.